largest in Washington's history. The men who organized the rally walk with springing steps toward the speaker stand. On the left, Roy Wilkins with A. Philip Randolph. They have fought their fight all of their adult lives. In the van is Martin Luther King, who has been jailed 12 times on racial issues. Others on hand include Walter Reuther, head of the auto workers.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
The river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. We must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling
we must put an end to this racism is bad.
Today, the gloved wonder charged that the recording industry was a racist conspiracy that turns profits at the expense of performers, particularly minority artists.
We must know that all the forms of popular music, from jazz to hip-hop to bebop to soul, to talk about the different dances, from the cakewalk to the jitterbug to the Charleston to break dancing. All of these are forms of black dancing. These things are very important, but if you go to the bookstore down the corner, you won't see one black person on the cover. You'll see Elvis Presley. You gotta remember something. The minute I started breaking the all-time record in record sales, I broke Elvis's records. I broke Beatles' records. The minute it became the all-time best-selling albums in history in the Guinness Book of World Records, overnight they called me a freak. They called me a homosexual. They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. I know my race. I just look in the mirror. I know I'm black.
We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
As the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. To later, it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America.
But my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
It's time for a change. And let's not leave this building and forget what has been said. Put it into your heart, put it into your subconscious mind, and let's do something about it. We have to. We have to. Because it's been a long, long time coming. And a change has got to come.
A change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. but he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, there've been times that I thought I could last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes it will.